Hey, how's it going? It's Jocelyn here with the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. Today is our Friday episode where we are talking about finding positivity in motherhood and all of those things that go with trying to enjoy your motherhood and not loathe and hate it. There can be a lot of things about motherhood that are very unappealing and unattractive and very difficult. And a lot of it has to do with the thoughts we think and the things that go on inside of our mind. That can also be true for vacations and for summertime. So, the next couple episodes, I kind of want to give you some tips to help you with this summertime. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Thanks for joining. This week, I specifically want to talk about family vacations because a lot of times during the summer, you are able to get away and go on a summer vacation. Well, maybe not a lot of times, but sometimes you can go on family vacations during the summer. The weather's nicer, it's a little easier to travel, and it is a good time to get out. And some of you may be getting out this summer, and if that is you, then this episode is for you. I recently returned from a family vacation with my husband and kids and some of my extended family. And I want to give you some tips, mostly some mindset tools that can help you deal with some of the stresses that come with vacationing with kids. It can be very stressful as a mom to vacation with kids, and I was reminded as we were preparing and getting ready to go, and even at some points on the trip, of how stressful it felt with all the responsibility, making sure everyone had everything, and dealing with attitudes. It can be very, very trying and very hard. So my first tip when it comes to family vacations and navigating them a little more successfully is expect it to be hard. Expect it to kind of have some tantrums and some difficult moments, some hard times, and prepare that it's not going to be exactly as your mind wants to imagine it. We often picture these family vacations where everybody's perfectly happy and perfectly agreeable and it just goes so nice and so amazing. But most times that is not how it happens. We get tired kids because we're traveling late or staying up late. We get overstimulated kids because maybe you're at a theme park or more people are around them. Maybe they're more tired because you've been hiking and what have you. They're just not used to it. And when they're not used to it and have some of these things that happen, the tiredness and the overstimulation or over physical activity that they're not used to, it's going to bring some tired meltdowns, some tantrums, and some difficult times. I have found for me personally that if I have high expectations and then something doesn't go as well as I had hoped in my mind, that I'm really down and upset and just annoyed. And I don't act my best self when I am in that situation. I am upset because things aren't going the way I thought they would go. For me, at least, I've learned that as I lower my expectations, they often go better than planned. So this last time for our family vacation, we were planning to leave our little 1-year-old at home. Well, with some family members. But due to some family circumstances, that didn't work out, so we had to take her. And she requires nap, and she is a very high-maintenance child. I will probably do a different podcast episode on dealing with a high-maintenance child because my first 3 were not like her. But she was hard. She is hard. And so knowing that we were going to have to take her was a little bit hard on my mind and difficult. I was like, this is not going to be at all like I had pictured it going to be because we're going to have to stop. She's going to need naps. She's going to get grouchy. She's very demanding. She doesn't enjoy sitting still for very long. And I had to refocus on how this vacation was going to go. I had to quite substantially lower my expectations. And you know what? We got back from that vacation almost a week ago, and she did better than I thought she would. And I found that as I sometimes lower the expectations of what I think it should look like, it tends to go better than I think it will, and I have a more enjoyable time than holding on to these expectations that don't get met and feeling down and discouraged because nothing is going right. So that was my first tip. The second tip is to be prepared. This is not always easy to do, and I would recommend planning in advance. Start your list in advance, but especially be prepared for your littles. And don't forget their comfort items. If they need a special blanket or a special binky, or if they sleep in a pack and play tent or what have you, be prepared with these things. Also be prepared with food. Have snacks that they can eat, because one way that children throw fits is when they're hungry. And sometimes if you're hiking or in line a lot or in the car and they don't have food to eat, it's going to make a tense and stressful situation for everybody. But if you have some of those snacks readily available, it's going to make your life so much easier. So be prepared. Be prepared with the things you need to bring. Make lists in advance. And this will help you to have peace of mind, because everybody's going to have what they need. One thing I did not do this time that my sister did, and I wish I would have done, was she put all of her kids' clothes in like quart-sized bags. So they had their clothes for the day. She even put their underwear and socks in these bags, and all her kids had to do that day was to pull out that bag and take the clothes out to wear them. That would have been a brilliant situation for me because we lost socks. I could not find the baby socks, and just stuff with having it scattered around made a bigger headache for myself. So doing things like that and preparing and planning in that way can also be super helpful and help your mind to go a lot better when your kids just have to grab their bag and aren't searching all day for underwear, or are upset because they lost one of their socks or something like that. So be prepared. And then also you can reuse those quart bags after you're done with them because it just had clean clothes in it. Just had to put that plug in there. The third thing that I'm going to recommend that will help you in this journey as a mom trying to enjoy family vacation, and that is to look at it as an adventure and smile. It can be very easy to get hot, especially if the weather's hot, and frustrated and hangry if you're hungry, and upset. But if you choose to look at this vacation as a fun adventure, and if you choose to smile instead of frown, you are going to come away with a lot better experience of this vacation, as I try and spit my words out. Look at it as an adventure. Even if something breaks, something goes terribly wrong, and you're way behind planned schedule, choose to smile and look at it as an adventure. Remind your kids, wow, look at what we are learning on this adventure. There may be some times for appropriate sarcasm, but instead of crying and being upset and paranoid and really annoyed, think of the story that this is going to make. Think of how your kids will remember it, and look at it as an adventure. That takes a simple mindset shift. It takes you intentionally thinking about how you want to act when you are on these family vacations. And if I can do it, you can do it. And it's still not going to be perfect. And there will still be times that are very hard. There were still times on my vacation that weren't very easy. All 4 kids threw up on the way home in the car. That was real great. And one threw up in the hotel. So fun. So there are things that just go wrong. But as you just look at it as an adventure, as you smile and wave, pass out the bags, and remember that this is your family experience. You want it to be positive. You will be able to have more fun and less stress in this vacation. And I was just going to do 3 tips, but I thought of a 4th one that I think can be very valuable that I really want to share with you. So I'm going to call it the bonus tip. And the bonus tip is more or less a question that I want you to ask yourself. How do you want your kids to remember you on family vacations? Do you want them to remember the mom who is annoyed, frustrated, yelling, upset, irritated, feeling stress and anxiety the whole trip? Or do you want your kids to remember as a mom who got down and enjoyed it, who enjoyed the vacation the best she could despite being hot, despite something going wrong, despite kids throwing up in the car? How do you want your kids to remember vacations? Do you want them to reflect on these vacations and be like, I hated family vacations. My mom became a bear on vacations. Or do you want them to remember, I loved vacations. My mom was so fun on family vacations. She really let go and have fun. And I really enjoyed to see that side of her on family vacations. So think about that question as a little bonus thought as you prepare for this summer that may have some family vacations involved in that. So to sum up a little bit of what I talked about, of what we talked about today with striving to enjoy family vacations with minimal stress as an intentional mom. And the first one was lower your expectations. Take them lower, and it might go better than you thought. The second tip was to be prepared. Have those snacks, treats, and comfort items for your kids. Make lists ahead of time. The third one was to look at family vacations as an adventure and smile even when things go bad. And the fourth, our little bonus, was a question. How do you want your kids to remember how you were on family vacations? And strive to emulate that person. You're not going to be perfect at it, and you are going to make mistakes, but give yourself grace and do your best. You got this, Mama. I am cheering for you, and I believe in you. If this episode or if these podcast episodes that you have listened to have helped you in your life, I encourage you to share them. Share them with your fellow moms who are struggling, but who want to enjoy motherhood better, who think that motherhood is difficult and not very fun, but desire to feel greater, to feel like there is more purpose in their motherhood. Refer them to the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, and let's build a sisterhood of mothers who are striving to better themselves, to better their motherhood, and to find positivity in this season of life. Thank you for listening. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.